Hi there, this is Simone Joyaux. I'm getting very excited about going to Montana to talk about fundraising and boards and how to make everything better. Right now, you're seeing me in my home office patio, and you're also seeing me not, dressed up or anything. This has been a day of packing and getting ready to go to St. Mary's University, where I teach every year in the master's program. So here are some questions I'm going to answer to entice you to see me. What is one thing your organization can do today to improve fund development? Well, let's see. One thing. Start reading blogs like from Jeff Brooks, Tom Ahern, Agents of Good in Toronto. Just start reading a few brief things that will inspire you. Seth Godin inspires me, for example, all the time. These blogs are all free. Read them and get excited and think, I can do this. Because as soon as I start learning and getting more information and research, I can tell my boss and my board, hey people, there's a way to do this. Question number 2, what does a high-functioning board look like regarding fund development? Item number 1, the board does not exist to be your fundraising SWAT team. A board does governance. Board members, as key volunteers, help nurture relationships, of course, give a personal gift to the best of their personal ability every single year. Make donor thank you calls. They do not trespass on the relationships, both personal and professional. They don't ask their friend, their mom, to give a gift because they're your friend or your mom. So let's make really sure we're not making them more uncomfortable than they already are. I want my board members to be good storytellers. That's one thing I want. And I want them all to understand that there are very specific things they can do. Okay, what's one thing I do to prepare for a donor meeting? Well, I'm going to look at their history, of course, of giving, but mostly I'm going to say, why do they care? What story may I invite them to tell? Because it's not a presentation, it's a conversation. You ask questions. One of the best questions I was asked that just made me tingle and practically cry as a donor. My community foundation said to me, how do you want to be remembered? And they didn't mean that I wanted, 10-foot high neon sign. No, they said, how do you want to be remembered? As whom? And I knew the answer, sort of, and then I started playing. So what I think about when I go meet with a donor is, why does she care? Why is he angry? And I engage them in a conversation about that. Let's see, what excites me about fundraising? Well, I deeply, deeply believe that fundraising is the servant of philanthropy. I believe that philanthropy is defined as voluntary action for the common good. You're a philanthropist. You're a philanthropist if you give $10 in the offering plate at your synagogue or your mosque or your church. You're a philanthropist if you volunteer time at some nonprofit organization other than the place you work. So I get excited about fundraising and philanthropy because I think we've been doing it not so well for so long, and that we can do it better, and we can capitalize on the great fundraising that's been done, but we can also change the dialogue. This isn't about trespassing. It's not about educating people. It's about finding out their interests, their loves, their worries, their fears. Okay, let's see. What am I reading? Any blogs, books, resource recommendations? Oh my gosh. All right, this is where we get into trouble. Because I got to tell you, at my house, with the life partner guy, when I start saying you should read this and this and this, he looks at me finally and he says, stop it. You're giving me too many suggestions. You're overwhelming me. And furthermore, he won't read any books I've read because I underline a lot, and he finds that very distracting. So I'm going to name several books for you. One of the best books I've read in the last decade, Alone Together, by Sherry Turkle, Turkle. She's a social scientist at MIT, and she's talking about how we are doing all of this high-tech social media connection, etc., but that we're alone more and more. Another most wonderful book I read within the last decade, by the New York Times science editor Shankar Vedantam, Vedantam. It's called The Hidden Brain, and it talks about our unconscious mind and how that's both good and bad. And he talks about research, and both the Vedantam book and the Turkle book are research. Now let's see, other blogs. Well, I already mentioned Seth Godin. You've got to subscribe to him. It's just so cool. Let's see. Well, I bet you're not talking about like romance novels or spies or mysteries, right? Because that's what I do, particularly when I'm sitting out here on my patio. Okay, so there's the answers to the questions that were posed to me, and I hope I'm going to see you in August. My worry now is I want to wear my really cool cowboy boots, but then I'm afraid it's going to be too hot, or you're going to think I'm like just silly. But I do have cowboy boots, and I've had them for more than a decade. So there. See you soon. Bye.